Heidi ho, my crafty friends. How are you today? So today we are going to work on our signatures for our book. And I'm going to show you how to punch your holes two different ways into your signatures. So you're going to need your craft knife. You're going to need, let me get a hold of it. You're going to need your needles. You're going to need your thread. You're going to need your your hidden spine that we created. You're going to need possibly your scissors. And you're going to need your awl, which I forgot. So let me grab it here out of the box. Let me grab the box here. And you're going to need your awl. Because I'm going to show you how to use your awl. Whoops, the doodles. And I'm going to show you how to use your big bite, if you have a big bite. There it is. I thought I got it out. Okay. So, I always get questions on how do I punch holes with my crocodile big bite. So, I'm going to show you how to do that. So, we don't need our book because we're not punching holes in the spine of our books. Okay, so whether or not you have this book or a different book, we're not going to use our books. Okay, so you can put your book aside. But the first thing we're going to do, and put aside everything else, but the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about signatures. Now, your signatures are basically a group of papers that we put together to create the things that we decorate. Okay, so let's go back to the book block that we took out. These are signatures. Okay, so if you're working on a book, the book block that you took out has signatures in it. And if you turn yours like mine is, you can see the signatures in it. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 signatures in it. And the pages in these signatures, let me get a hold of one and I'll tell you how many pages are in each signature. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, there are 7 pages per signature. Okay, so they put 7 pages per signature. Make sure I have a signature. Yeah, there are 7 pages per signature. Okay, so they took 7 pages, they printed on them all the poems and everything that they had. And then they folded them in half, they cut them, they inked them, and then they sewed them together. That makes one signature. Okay? And you can see my stitches right there. See, there's a little thread. That's one signature. Okay? And now we're going to do 4 larger signatures. Okay, is that making sense? So our signatures are going to that's not the right word. Are going to consist of I knew I'd get the word right. Are going to consist of I only had 1 cup of coffee this morning. And when I woke up today, it was minus 20 degrees. Good gravy, my brain is frozen, you guys. That's what happens when you live on a mountain, I guess. So let me get all of this off of here. Okay. So my little signatures consist of coffee dyed paper. Okay. This is baking paper that's been coffee dyed. There's a piece of old music paper. There's a piece of paper from a magazine, just a floral ad or a magazine that I get from Lowe's every year that I love, love, love because it has beautiful pictures in it. There's a piece of old notebook paper that has grids on one side. Make sure you can see it. Oops, I'm up too high. There you go. It has grids on one side and lines, you know, just regular lines on the other. Okay, you can see that. And then this is from one of my floral books, and I do not have that in right. Okay. And then this is from one of my Edith Holden books. Now, my Edith Holden books are not originals. Okay. And I'm going to put that in the middle. And it does need trimmed because, you know, it's not the right size. And I haven't folded it yet. So, I want to show you how we're going to fold these. So, we're going to get all these together. And I'm going to take this page and I'm going to fold it in half because I want this in my center. So it'll open like that, and then on both sides I'll still see it. Now, you have to decide what you want in your center. Do I want that in my center next to that, or do I want this someplace else? I actually think I want this over here because it's about this size, and I have an idea for this page. So before I put this together, I want to trim that off because I want to make this a pocket. So those are things that you need to think about. You know, as you flip through your book, what are some things that you want to do with your pages? Well, I want to make this a side pocket. So I need to trim off the top of that so that they're the same size. So when I glue them together, you know, they're the same size. So before I do anything, I'm going to trim that. Whoops. Okay, so I'm going to trim that. And then I'm going to come up here to my edges, and I'm going to make sure that my edges are even. Now, to make sure that my edges are even, because I have them folded together, I'm going to take my bone folder, and I'm squishing down the edges. Now, they're still folded together, and you see how much difference is sticking out now, okay? And I'm going to line this up where I want it. And then I'm going to take off that little edge. Now, if you don't have a mat like I do, it's no big deal. Just make sure you're cutting on something safe, like an old cutting board. You've seen me cut on my old cutting board. You know, it looks like this. You've seen me cut on this before. I think I need a new blade. You've seen me cut on this before. It's just an old cutting board. I got it at the Dollar Tree when they used to carry them. They might still carry them. Now, these are the same size. Now, I have to put these together now. I can't move them. So, before I sew them in, I'm going to go on and glue them because they're much easier to glue now than they will be once I get them in the book. So, I'm going to go on and glue them now. And I'm just going to use my art glitter glue. Now, I already know I want my pocket to be here, okay? So I'm going to glue across the bottom. Let's see. You know what? I can't glue it yet because I have to sew it in. So I can't glue it yet. Never mind on the gluing because I have to be able to open it up to glue it. Never mind. Never mind. Because I have to be able to open it to sew it in. Well, popped my bubble, didn't I? But that's okay. But I do know where I want it to go. I want it right here. So I'm going to put them in here together, and I want them right here in the middle, because that's where my bottom hole is going to go. Okay. So I'm going to tap them all together. Tap, tap, tap. And I'm going to take this, and I'm going to go to the middle, and I'm going to play whack-a-mole. And I'm going to get them all down, and I'm going to close it up. Now, I'm going to look inside, and I'm going to see. Now, I've got things sticking out. Now, if you've watched me make journals before, do step-by-steps, and I used to do this all the time, you know now's the time that I take to make sure that things are where they're supposed to be. And you have to line up the bottom, okay? And you have to make sure that everything gets, and this just takes a couple of minutes, and you have to do it, and you're going to have to do it on all 4 of them, okay? And I'm not going to make you watch me do it on all 4 of them, because it's the same. But see that little piece sticking out? I cannot get it to go back in. So let's see. So I'm just going to trim it off. I'm not going to keep fighting with it. So then I'm going to put my paper clip back on it. But I am going to make sure everything is to the back. Okay. Going to make sure everything's to the back. Now, what are we going to use to measure this? Well, we can do 2 things. We can use this. We can use a page from our book, because we know that fits. Or we can use our book. So, if we use our book, you use it this way. And I'll show you how to do this on another signature. If we use our book, you need to put your paper clip at the top, okay? Because you don't want anything interfering with this part. This part needs to be open and free. So, you're going to snuggle this into the spine, and you're going to put this, hold on a minute, I'm going to show you. Okay, remember down here, this part, where we've left this spine, or not the spine, we left the book, the original part of the book, uncovered when we put the fly papers in. The fly papers just went in, but this is the original part of the book. Okay, so we're going to line our papers up the same size as the fly paper. Okay, so we're going to line our signatures up the same size as the fly paper. Okay, does that make sense? So you're going to snuggle your paper in, and you're going to make sure that it doesn't go past that fly paper. Okay, so mine doesn't go past that fly paper on the bottom. Now I'm going to hold it there. Now, if you want, you can put a paper clip there. You most certainly can put a paper clip there. And let me show you what that looks like. You can take one of your bigger paper clips, you can take a clamp, and you can put a paper clip there. And that'll hold it into place while you do the other side. Now the other side, you need to do the same thing. You don't want to come past your fly paper. Okay? So you're going to take your pencil, and you're going to lift your paper, and you're going to say, okay, right here is the edge of my fly paper. So I want to come in just a little smidgen. And sometimes it's easier to do it at the top. But you've got to make sure that your paper's, you know, all the way in. You don't want it to come out. Just make sure it's all the way in. I'm going to turn the book. Let me make sure I got to go in the right way. I'm going to turn the book sideways so I can see it. Okay, right here's my fly paper. Okay, right there at the fabric. Okay, see the top of the fabric where my finger is? That's the top of the fly paper. So I'm going to mark the fabric. I'm going to put my ruler there so you can see it. That's the top of the fly paper right there. Okay, so I'm going to mark it right there. And I need to make sure that I bring that all the way across. I'm going to take that off so I can do that. When I'm actually a little bit high. Now, if you're a little bit high, you can always bring it down. No big deal. Okay, so there's the top. Now we're going to do the same on this side. Okay. Now I'm going to put this back because I don't want that to move. Here, you know what? I think we're going to go on and cut the top first. Let's cut the top. Now we're going to cut on the inside of the line. Okay? Cut on the inside of that line. Ah, I see what's wiggling. That inside, that center piece is the one that's wiggling. Okay, so let's put that on the bottom. Okay, so to make sure it's straight, let me move these other signatures here. So to make sure that that is straight, you're going to line it up on a line. All right, signatures, get out of my way. We're going to line it up on a line like that. Okay. I know this sounds tedious, but you need to make sure that your line is straight. And I'm going to put this here. Now, if it's too big, you can come back and take off a little bit more. Now, I'm going to move my book so I don't cut my book. And you're going to take your knife, or you can use your smaller knife. Or if you have one of the bigger ionic cutters and you're better at using it than I am, you can use that. Now I'm going to cut on the inside of that line. And you just bring it across. Okay? And you just keep going until you're all the way through. Just like that. Okay? See, I cut on the inside of the line. Okay? My line is gone. Now, I'm going to do the same thing coming down. So, we're going to put it back in the book. So, I'm going to line it back up. Okay? And I don't ever mind that it's a little too short. That always gives me room to add flips that go up. That gives me room to add multiple layers of things. So I never mind if I'm a little too short, because then I can scoot up a little bit. Because you guys know, let me make sure I'm scooted back. You guys know how much I fill a journal. Even when I say I'm trying not to, you guys know. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing on the side. Right there is my side piece. Okay, where's my ruler? I always cut shorter than what I need, always. Okay, you're going to see my head. You know what? Let me pick you up here a little bit. Maybe you won't see my head so bad. All right, so I want to come in. Sorry, you guys. Now, let's see if I got that straight. All right, so I made 2 marks. I made a mark here, and I made a mark here. So let's see if I made them the same in. So I'm using my smaller size. Should be right there. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put it right there. And I'm just going to cut straight down. Now this one is going to be the guide for the rest of them. Okay. Now you just pull all those off. Okay. There we go. Now let's see. Let's see how straight I am. So that goes in there. Oh yeah. So now I have plenty of room. Okay. So I'm just a little bit in. So now let's get the rest of them made. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use this one as the guide for the rest of them. Okay. So we're going to get these together. And I'm going to show you how we do them all together. Okay. So we put these in here. All right, so make sure everything is in there. And now we look through it. Now, do I want this picture attached to anything? Let's look through here and see. I don't think so. I think this was the one I didn't. Okay, I'm good. So, let's make sure everything is down. Everything is back. I want to make sure everything is flat and where it needs to go. Okay, so I'm going to put this back over here so it doesn't go anywhere. Okay, and here's number 3. Now, when you're folding your papers, you can do this. You can fold your papers 2 different ways. You can fold them individually, which is sometimes what I do. I fold mine individually, depending on how big my signatures are going to be. Most of the time, my signatures are 10 to 12 pages, depending on my book. Now, most of my journals are 10 to 12 pages in size. Okay, so before I put this envelope in, I do remember I need to trim off the top because this glued itself closed when I was coffee dyeing it. But when I make smaller envelopes for my beginner class, they're usually just 1 or 2 signatures, and they're only 10 pages. Okay, that's good. Now, if I want, I can go on and cover this envelope. I can go on and make a decision now to cover it in whatever, if I want to use a patterned paper, I can go on and do that. And I think I want this down a little bit. Yeah, I think I want that down. Right about there. Or I can, if I choose, I can make them bigger like I'm making them now. So it depends on what type of journal you're making. Okay, now here it is. Okay, so I'm going to show you this way. This way, you fold them all at the same time. So let me show you how that works. So you take your pages. I think I want this on the inside. Okay, and I've decided, now some of these were already folded and I just stuck them together. You know, I just picked them up and put them together. Okay. Now this is one of the tea-dyed papers I was telling you guys about. After my husband makes tea, I just drop the tea bags on a piece of paper. Okay, so I was hoping I had something to put. Oh, I do. I have 2 pieces to put on here. So this page I can go on and glue together. So let me show you how that's going to work. So this is just 2 pieces of paper that I can go on and glue together and use as one. So however I want to do this, I can go on and do this. So I'm going to go on and glue my edges. Let's see, I need to use this on my edge. Okay. Now, because these are 2 together, I think I'm going to need to use my paper cutter to trim that. I need to trim that at the bottom to give me a straight edge. And you'll notice I don't keep all of my paper scraps. There's no need. I don't need to keep them all. If I did, I would have so much paper and so many scraps that I would just be overwhelmed with them. I've tried that. You know, I've tried following people that say, you know, keep all your scraps, keep this, keep that. And oh my goodness, I've just had so many that I didn't have anywhere to put anything. So unless you're going to use your scraps, I don't see any need in keeping them. Okay. There we go. Now we're a little neater. Now, like the other one, I want it to be side opening. All right, I'll get that off of here. So I can glue. Oops, I glued the top closed. There we go. Okay, and then I want to round my corners. Goodness, I have stuff everywhere. Okay, so now I'm ready to put this in, and I can just sew it right through there. Okay, and this is going to be the middle. Now, the rest of it, get over there, my goodness. The rest of it, we're just going to put it all together, and we're just going to fold it over. And we're just going to fold it down. Just like that. Now, that is not my usual way of doing it. I don't particularly like doing it that way. I feel like I miss things that way. And like I don't get things folded very neatly that way. So let's make sure we have things the way we want them. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, this one's going to have 9 because of the page we glued together. That made it 10. All right, so we're going to smush all this down. And we're going to make sure everything's at the bottom. But you can choose either way that you want. Okay? You still have all this squishing out on the sides. It's, you know, no big deal because we're going to trim it off. And you still need to make sure everything comes to the bottom. Okay? So, we're going to put all these together. Just like this. And we're going to take these off. Just like that. Because we have to cut them all at one time. Okay? Now, don't let that make you panic. It's not that big a deal. Okay? Now, I'm just going to put 2 paper clips. 2 of these big paper clips on it. Because I need to hold them together. And I need to take the one that I've already cut and line it up at the bottom. Okay? And then put it over here on the side. Okay? So I've got it lined up on the side. Just like that. Make sure it's straight. And then I'm going to take my pencil and I am just drawing a line. Oops, need to take that off, don't I? And I just need to draw a line. Okay? That's all I need to do. Okay? So here's my line. And here's my top line. All right, so my top one, I need to make sure my center piece is all the way down. And it's where I want it to be. So let's cut the side first so we can kind of get this under control. Now I'm going to move it over to a line. I'm going to line it up on the side and on the bottom. Now we're cutting through a lot of paper and it's no different than what we did before. It's absolutely no different. Okay? Except it's going to take you a little bit longer. That's all. It's just going to take you a little bit longer. So make sure you have a sharp blade. Now let me show you how you change the blades on these. You're going to need a flat, one of your jewelry tools that has the flat head. You're going to need a piece of tape. Just a piece of Scotch tape. This is all I use. So you pull out your tape and you lay it on your table. Okay, take this and you snap it off and don't let go of it and don't look at it while you're doing it. Lay it on the tape and wrap it up. And I know there's supposed to be a little thingy up there to break it off, but I can't get mine out. Now wrap it up. And then I put another piece of tape around it. Just like that. And then put it in your trash. Now you can also wrap this in a piece of your scraps that you just cut off if you want. But make sure that your edges are safely covered. Okay. Now I'm going to put this up here out of the way. Until I can do that. and then put your tools away. Now, you have a nice sharp blade to cut through all this paper. Okay, so you're going to hold down and you're going to take your blade and you're going to push away, just slightly away from you. You're going to start at the top and you're going to slowly and evenly drag through. That's all you're going to do. And as your paper starts bubbling up around you, you just use a little finger and you push it away. Just like that. But you need to hold your ruler down and you need to hold it still. Okay? Now, if you don't like going through all of these, you can do them one at a time like I did before. Or you can use your scissors. You know, it's completely up to you. Okay. Now, all of this, retract your blade. All of this, I'll just put in the trash. Now, my little music notes, I would possibly consider keeping only because of that. And that would go in my scrap box for an upcoming project that we're going to do in this book. Other than that, the rest of it's going in the trash. All right, now we're going to go across the top. And the reason I didn't do the top first is because, see those birds? I want those birds. So I'm going to go to the center of my signature. And I want to scoot this one. I want to scoot that one down. And then I'll just trim it off the bottom. Okay. Now put these back on. Now, make sure you have plenty of room to do this. Line it up. Now, I'm using the lines on my mat with the lines that I drew and here. And a sharp blade is important because it will make your cutting much, much easier. Okay, there we go. Now this, I'll take that out before we sew. Now, I have all 4 of them done. Now, let me just put these over here out of the way because we're running out of time. I promised you all these would be quick, and I think this one's a little bit longer, isn't it? All right, let's put these back on here. Okay, so all 4 of them are cut. There you go. There they are. Uh-oh. Look. The one that I moved, oh, I know why it's different. Because I need to cut that. There. I need to cut that still. So let's get our scissors. Let's get our scissors. Now, I'm not going to open that. That's not the scissors I want. Goofy girl. These are the scissors I want. All right, I'm just going to pull that out. There we go. Now I'm going to stick this back in the middle. There we go. Now we're good. Okay, now we're all the same size. Okay, so I think we've run over our time. Oh, we've hit our time limit right there. Perfect. Okay, so that's all we're going to do today. We've got our signatures cut and we're ready to get them in. So the next video, we're going to get our signatures in our book, and I'm going to show you guys how to punch the holes with this. Gosh, our time went fast today. How to punch our holes with our crocodile, and with your awl, we're going to punch them in one signature with our awl. So I'll give you guys an opportunity to get your signatures cut and get your signatures together. So until I see you in the next video, and I'm so glad that you joined me today, and I'm so glad that you guys are enjoying this. It's a lot of fun having more people at my craft table. It really is. I can't wait for you to start decorating this book with you guys. It's going to be so much fun. So until we meet again, and until we start getting our little signatures in our book, let's get this book going, shall we? So until we meet again, and until we start getting our signatures in our book, ta-ta for now.